The wilderness within you, the 7th day, which is Tuesday of week 2. Our Bible reading is from Matthew 13, verse 3, 7 and 22, the Good News translation. Once there was a man who went out to sow grain. Some of the seed fell among thorn bushes, which grew up and choked the plants. The seeds that fell among thorn bushes stand for those who hear the message, but the worries about this life and the love for riches choke the message, and they don't bear fruit. We make our way down the small path between the houses leading to the park, treading carefully, because some dogs have been waiting all night to get into the park and fulfill the call of nature. Not every dog makes it all the way down the path. There are special bins. Some dog owners make use of them diligently. Others don't. Either side of the path, through gaps in close boarded fencing, we catch glimpses of back gardens with their greenhouses, shrubs and small lawns, all forlorn and straggly still. Spring hasn't really got going. Halfway down the path we come to the end of the gardens, and I stop. All that there, I say, waving a wide arc to indicate the wasteland covered comprehensively with an overgrowth of brambles, an area of land left to care for itself between the houses and the park, is what wilderness means to me. Brambles. We stand and gaze at the huge briar patch with its impenetrable tangle of thorns. In the woodland of Sussex, where I live, brambles are part of the cycle of life determined by light in the coppices. Under the dappling shade of the close-spaced sweet chestnuts, chosen for their swift growth and habit of self-renewal after cutting, not much grows. Moss maybe, and fungi. But when a section of trees has been cut, the wild flowers return. Bluebells, primroses, and wood anemones in the spring, and wild garlic along the borders of the trees and the banks of streams. As the year progresses, the brambles throw out new shoots, long, vigorous runners across the bridle ways and footpaths, tangling your feet and catching on your clothes. Come the autumn, we go blackberrying. The first fruits of August are the fullest and sweetest, but the main crop comes in September. Right now, the bramble patch is just an ugly tangle of sere grey-brown. It looks dead, but it shelters hidden life, home to rabbits and voles, shrews and field mice, and any number of insects. This is how I think of wilderness. Thorns, I say, thorns that crowd and choke the sprouting seed, leaving no room for anything but themselves. Like that story in the Bible. Oh, that was one of your stories, wasn't it? It was, he affirms. Well, I think of wilderness like that, both in real life, nature I mean, and as a metaphor. I think one kind of wilderness is the hopelessness that can seize a person so that nothing can ever get started. I remember you said about the thorns being the cares and pleasures of this world. So the cares sprout and multiply, money worries and debts, concerns about image and appearance, keeping up with the Joneses, academic and professional success, maybe redundancy and mortgage repossession, a tangling clutter of things that trip you up and catch you fast until you feel as though you'll never be free again, never know again the simplicity you once had in being a child. And the pleasures too, drinking and flirting and sexual voyeurism, shopping till you drop and accumulating possessions. We call it consumerism, but what is consumed? The person's own living soul, in the end. Instead of something productive and orderly, a life turns into a wilderness of uncontrolled overgrowth. You can't do anything with it, and there's no way through. Down in the valley, where the park nestles, our feet come to rest at the edge of the duck pond, where we crumble the multi-seeded brown rolls I brought and throw bread to water birds thronging eagerly to be fed on this cold day. How about you? I ask. If you could pick one thing like brambles and say, this to me means wilderness, what would it be? I watch him, waiting curiously for his response. He looks down at the broken bread he holds, his hands stilled for a moment. Then he pulls a piece off, crumbling and flinging it across the pond to where the less dominant ducks wait their turn. Stones, he says. As he says that, suddenly it comes alive in me. I think of subsistence farmers struggling to make something grow in lands where the desert is spreading, and forest dwellers driven off the land by the aggressive encroachment of Western agribusiness. More than 150 acres lost every minute of every day to meet the ever-expanding demands of growth economy, voracity that cannot be satisfied. We have made wilderness our business, leaving nothing but parched and barren scar tissue. We have swapped the people's bread for stones. Wilderness is two things then: a beautiful ecosystem teeming with life, and an emptied desert of despair. I suppose a long time ago something happened to our way of looking at things, so that we began to ask only, what's in it for me? And then the wilderness of the rainforest seemed neither more nor less valuable to us than a ruined barren scar. Somewhere we became destructively utilitarian and began to dismiss every acre of land not conquered and subjugated as wilderness. Yes, stones, even more than brambles, speak of wilderness.